Okay, well, that's
We're good?
Great job. What's clam?
Thanks.
Good lunch.
What's the clam?
Clam AV and
It's
Clam Win are
antivirus software.
They're
Oh,
open source
and
software.
And they're free. Only when the earthquake happens.
Clam Win is for the clients running XP, and Clam AV is for on the servers. It's only for server 2003.
I have a question about that. Did you have Clam AV and Clam Win installed on your clients? How do they ever get updates?
We had the Clam Win was installed on the clients, and that is supposed to get updates as they roll out. It's configured to look for updates as soon as updates are available. They're supposed to go get them. Clam AV was a different story. Clam AV, we had a problem. We had kind of a loop. We kept going back and back and back, and it kept sending us to the same website. We never were able to install Clam AV. It kept being a problem child again and again and again.
Supposedly they're all working correctly. Are they going to get updates automatically individually, or would the updates be pushed down to them from a server?
We could implement something like that, but we just, with the time restrictions, we didn't quite get to that.
But that was our plan.
But you would not be using WSUS to do that, would you?
No.
I don't believe so.
Also, a follow-up question on that is, since you are not using Microsoft Office products, for your OpenOffice applications, if you have an update to be deployed, how would you plan on doing that?
We can deploy that update in a very similar fashion that we installed OpenOffice
Using
MSI files.
a group policy, I guess? I see. Okay.
So they have MSI files that they create for the updates? Or
No,
you
we would have to
go
create
in?
those.
Unfortunately, that's not an automatic.
We actually do have to do something as IT.
Not if you set it up right.
Not if you set
So
it up right.
we know that's in direct violation of Ritter's Law 1, but you know, sometimes we actually do have to do work.
So you guys got one force or two force?
Any other questions?
We
have one force.
You can go ahead and Google that.
So you got one force, you got Pico as one domain, and you got Tomiko as another domain. Is Tomiko a child domain of it?
No, Pico Play is a child domain. Well,
Tomiko.priv is the original parent domain.
Okay.
We then created picoplay.priv and attached it to Tomiko.priv, with Tomiko.priv being the controlling or superior domain,
So the Pico's the child domain then?
essentially.
Yeah.
Pico Play is a tree in the forest of Tomiko.
Yeah.
It's set up as its own independent domain, but it was linked to Tomiko.priv.
How'd you link it?
Didn't handle that part.
Did you link it by way of a trust, or did you link it by way of?
No, we did not use a trust.
Active Directory?
just
Active
as the
It was
director.
there, yeah. It was there.
Okay, so you went through the Active Directory, and when you went through the Active Directory, it's called the DC promo, right?
Yes.
What did you choose as your choice going through there?
A new domain in an existing forest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New domain, so it's a child domain then?
Yes.
That's what you're doing, making a child domain much
If you want to be specific, it's a challenge.
better. Thank you. I don't know how you guys are designing.
We don't like to call it a child domain, it's all group.
You guys have, how many machines did you have in each of your subnets?
Not enough.
I mean,
Approximately
machine-
what was
60 users on each floor.
well,
Close to some-
if our subnet had 512 hosts per subnet.
512 per subnet.
What was designed.
It's designed to handle up to.
Okay.
We had approximately 60 clients per subnet.
Yeah.
Right.
We had, let's see, this one, 2, 5 servers. Sound about right?
Yeah.
Yes.
5
Yeah.
servers?
5 servers.
5 servers.
Four servers and a router.
4 servers in a
Yeah,
router?
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I stand correct. 4
But you were-
servers.
But you were setting up to support 512 nodes of
Yeah,
each.
for-
Yes, per subnet.
That's plenty of room for expansion.
why did you guys choose to go to a 10 dot versus a Class B address like 172?
Because we were given the range of 10.90.48.0 to 10.
So that was the requirement?
Yeah,
Right.
that's part of the
Yeah.
requirement.
Okay. All right, you guys said you guys have a primary and secondary DNS?
No, it's Active Directory integrated zones.
Active
So they're both
Directory
acting as
integrated
primaries
zones.
pretty much.
Okay, so how did you set up the active, because you got the DNS up at, I guess, Pico is the top, or Tomiko is the top?
Pico's at the
Yes.
top.
Right, and then you had a DNS down at Pico? Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So how did you set up the,
The integrated zone was only for the Pico plated domain.
so does
There's a
Tomiko now
stub
have a
zone
DNS?
to Tomiko.
Tomiko has
Oh.
its own DNS.
Okay,
We
Tomiko
created
has
a
its own
stub
DNS?
zone.
and it's
Yeah,
a
we were
stub-
responsible for Pico plates connecting to Tomiko. We didn't
So
set
where do
Tomiko
people
up.
register to? Where do all your client machines register and what DNS?
Pico play.
To Pico
Pico
Play.
plates where they
Right, that's the
register.
primary then that they're pointing to, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
But you said you had half of them going to the primary and half of them going to the secondary.
Right, for load
Yes.
balancing.
What's the secondary is the other DNS?
Well, they're
Correct, the
we-
primary and
they're
secondary
No, they're
DNS.
technically both primaries because Active Directory integrated.
But for all the clients, as far as they're concerned, one was set as primary, one was secondary, and then half of.
But in
half is
DHCP,
split.
we set it up to where half would go to one DNS server first, and then their alternate was the other one, and then it was flipped for the other half.
Okay, so in the Tomiko, you had two DNS servers running Active Directory integrated, which in turn half of them was going to one
In
DNS
Pico.
server. and the other
In
one was
Pico,
going to
But
other
Pico,
DNS
yeah.
servers.
not
Tomiko was
Okay,
existing.
Pico.
So you use the stub zone down in, whatever the other, still lost.
Pico.
Pico.
We're only working
Yeah.
with
Pico.
Alright, down in Pico, you use the stub zone. Why did you choose the stub?
That's just the route we chose to go.
To let-
To connect to Tomiko in the first place.
What happens if you lose the DNS servers up in Tomiko up on top?
IT admin.
IT in there, Tomiko has a problem.
But how do people,
But
that
we're
means
just-
your users are stuck and not be able to resolve any machines up there?
Yeah.
Well, they won't be able
Guess
to
that-
resolve
that would-
across the
that would-
forest. They'll be
yeah.
able to resolve in the Pico Play domain, and Tomiko will be on their own, but they won't be able to go across domains.
They won't be able to go across the domain while it's working or when, if it's not
If it
working?
fails.
If Tomiko goes down, if they have a problem with their DNS, we can still resolve names in Pico.
Right, but then Pico have to get up to Tomiko with some of the work that they're doing?
Not,
If they
Well,
don't, then why are
some
you
of it,
even
yeah.
doing a DNS going up to there? If they don't ever have to go up there, why are you even doing a DNS going up to that?
it was in the requirement.
That was the
Well,
requirements that
because
we had
that's
to
how we
resolve.
had to
Don't
connect,
share
that's how we
the-
tried to connect to the first in the first place.
Okay, so that's how you're connecting, right?
Yeah.
So what happens if that dies out up there, the DNS has prompts, whatever, the server stops, whatever else? That means if there's any request that needs to be made from the Pico up to Tomiko, if you're doing a stub zone, will that work?
And we have an RG.
So that means you've lost on your information going up there. Your Active Directory stuff is going to get lost.
We tested that out, and we came back with a 224 error.
Yeah, so sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We researched it forever, but
Yeah,
we come up.
So what
It
other
it kept
methods
saying,
did you
see
use?
Kasama, and we don't really know.
So what other methods could you use in the DNS to help do the resolution process? You use a stub zone, which is fine,
Sure.
but what other methods could you use that maybe cover that issue and problem of if it dies out up there, the DNS, you can still actually resolve names to IP addresses from down below?
The secondary zone.
Okay, secondary zone off of there?
Yeah.
Okay. So what advantage do you get with the secondary versus the stub?
We get all of the records.
Full replication, yeah.
Okay, so you get all the records off of there itself. What's the disadvantage you can get with that?
A lot of traffic.
Traffic.
Traffic,
yeah.
access traffic,
Yeah.
but you need to keep in mind how much traffic will you actually have. Think about how many registrations you have in there. Is that gonna be a lot, whatever else off there? All right, cool.